Okay, this morning we're in the Dieback Lodge Hill vineyard on the east side of Clare at about 480 metres above sea level. So this is a Riesling vineyard. We're finding the Riesling aren't as susceptible to Eutypa as Shiraz and Cabernet in the Clare Valley. What we did at Dieback about 20 years ago, or a little bit longer, we bought a barrel pruning machine to save ourselves a bit of money on the hand pruning. In that we used the machine for many years and tried to eliminate the cuts that our hand pruners would clean up afterwards. So we'd take a cut for them basically with the machine. Over the years we found our rate of Eutypa was increasing, and about 4 years ago we made a decision to change our practices. Back in the day we would take cuts this low so that the pruners wouldn't have to take a cut to clean up. But in that we also took spur positions and left big open wounds horizontal for Eutypa to infect the vine. We've gone from trying to eliminate cuts for the hand pruner to lifting the machine up so that we take a lot less off, but in that we don't have anywhere on this vine behind me where Eutypa can affect the vine. We're not saving as much money as we used to, but we're certainly looking after the vineyards a lot better. On the east side of Clare at 480 metres, there's a lot of misty rain, a lot of fog, there's a lot of dense air. All you need is as little as 2 mils of rain for the stoma to release their spores. So in a piece of wood like this that we have, the blackened area really tells you that are the stoma. So yeah, really don't need a lot of rain to release these spores. So at the right time of year the spores are thick everywhere. So when we changed our pruning practices, we put into place some protocol with regards to rain and pruning in the rain. We decided not to prune in the rain, so if the contractors knew that it was a wet day, they just wouldn't arrive, or managed to go to other people's vineyards. One of the other things we did is we decided that the hand clean-up people, a lot of them use double-handed loppers. We decided to talk to them about making the big cuts on an angle rather than horizontal. And in that, I mean, rather than making a horizontal cut like that and leaving a big open wound where water can pool, we asked them to actually take the time and cut on an angle at every cut they made. So we'd cut like that on the angles so that the water wouldn't pool on them and the water would run off. You can walk through most of our vineyards now and you'll hardly ever find a horizontal cut, so they've picked that up really well. The other thing we decided to do is, because Riesling is less susceptible to Eutypa, we decided to prune our Riesling vines earlier in the season. We generally pick on our Riesling at the start of the year in June, and then as it warms up and we get into September, we'll start to pick on all of our Shiraz because they're more susceptible. Pruning late in the season will reduce the chance of infection because it's warmer, there's some sap flow, and obviously we don't have the rain events when it starts to get into spring. With a lot of vineyards you have to prune some at the wrong time of the year or out of those boundaries, but you know, if you pick your days, you know you've got some warm weather coming up, it's not too bad. So it's just those little thoughts. We put the protocol into place. For the last 4 years it's worked really well. The other protocol we set at Dieback was we had one guy that we employed to come through behind the pruners, and each day he'd follow up behind the pruners. He would spray any big cuts with fungicide. So he walked around with a 5 litre pack. I had a couple of them. He'd leave one at the end of the row and pick that up and move on. But anything that was bigger than about a 10-cent piece size cut that they'd made and horizontal, he would actually daub them with a little spray of fungicide. And at the time, a couple of years ago, we reckon it was costing about 4 cents a vine to do, so it wasn't that expensive. If you do the things that we've talked about, you'll eliminate the infection sites.